Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. Frustrating afternoon's football at the Amex as Liverpool drew 2-2 with Brighton having gone a goal behind. There was probably a spell in that game where we'd have bitten off your hand for the point, but not when Liverpool went 2-1 up and then Ryan Gravenberch miss that could have put Liverpool 3-1 up, meant it adds to frustrations. Now, of course, the flip side of that is they miss a huge chance to make it 3-2 to them. So, yeah, nobody really gets to come away with bragging rights from that. And we know that that's what modern football is all about, right? But yeah, some good performances, some interesting ones, some mad refereeing decisions. If you have thoughts on any of them, you can interact with me. Use the members only chat here on YouTube to get involved. You can tweet us at the Redmen TV, and if you're a Club Legend subscriber over on Redmen Plus, you can use the Discord. We've got plenty of choice to get through on that. For example, a smart comment here from our Club Legend Discord that just says, "Football is not won on paper." Sometimes, but rarely. Here's another one actually which I think is quite interesting just to add to it from Unichronic. We have a brand new midfield. Most of our midfield have never played for Liverpool before. Top 4 and Europa League final will be realistic goals. Look, and I want to be clear on this because I have this generalised belief that I just want to see Liverpool get back to being a competitive force. We need to get back to enjoying the journey rather than stressing about the destination. The destination will be what it will be. There's people who are responsible for that, the people who take to the field. Our job as supporters of what ultimately a pastime is to try and extract as much fun from this as possible. And because of how tense it's been at times, I don't think we've quite enjoyed it as much as maybe we should have done. I'm really enjoying this season. I'm really enjoying having Liverpool having new questions to be asked, and I'm enjoying finding out what the answers are. And unfortunately, sometimes the answers aren't everything that you'd hope they'd be. And the question is, are Liverpool going to challenge Man City in another 97, 98, 99 point season? Based on the evidence of what we've seen, the answer is probably no. Does that mean that the season is over in October? Of course it's not. Loads to play for and loads of fun to be had along the way. But yeah, I think expectations are a big thing. But what are your thoughts? How are you feeling? How are you feeling after that? It's very hard to sit here and be like, oh, well, yeah. I don't really want to go into all of the hyper positives around it because I don't really feel it when Liverpool don't win. There was enough on there to just take the edge off. My biggest takeaway from it is probably on the overall levels of performance. A couple of moments where we did struggle a little bit, but there were moments where we really made Brighton struggle, and I can't think of many moments last season where we made Brighton struggle at all. Now, how's that for a barometer? It's not as sexy as saying we made Man City struggle, of course not. But if you're looking to build and improve, you want to build and improve on the things that you weren't doing well when you were crap. And this was an opportunity to do that. I don't think it was conclusive, but it certainly wasn't an absolute shit show, which is what last year's games were. Luke Burns has got a point to make on the penalty decision. Says, a mate Sky saying it should have been a red as no attempt to play the ball, as double jeopardy is if an attempt to play the ball is made. Also, that Gravenberch miss also cost us, and they are the fine margins. Yeah, absolutely on that. I say, so we were having this debate during the watch along about the double jeopardy rule, and obviously my understanding was, which was right, is that it wasn't like a deliberate, if it's not a deliberate malicious foul or whatever, you can't really give it. But I think that's an interesting debate and an interesting talking point when you're pulling somebody back by the nape of their football shirt. It's not really a fair attempt to win the ball, is it? You're just looking to impede the man. So yeah, why not think that should be a red card? But yeah, it's one of them. Liverpool get a penalty and Liverpool score the penalty. I'm not really looking for more advantage than that. It gives Liverpool an opportunity to get to take the lead in a football match where 10 minutes earlier they'd been behind. So maybe that's right, and maybe that's an interesting discussion point. You might be totally right on that. But yeah, look, Liverpool gave themselves the best possible chance. I don't really want to rally and for players to be getting sent off or whatever. But what do you think? For you watching at home, should they have had a red card as well as conceding the penalty? Let me know. Luke Burns, says, also not a bad point against a very good side, but we should be doing better if we want to challenge this year. Yeah, and it kind of feeds into the last part of the first comment from Luke, actually, of the fine margins thing. title winning form, as we understand it, is dragging wins out of draws. The team that wins the title is often the one that does that. You know, whereas Liverpool have had many a season where we've looked back and gone, oh, it's the draws that killed us. It was the defeats that killed us last season. So, you know, that's your process. You lose too many games of football, you stop losing, but then you don't quite have the thing to turn draws into wins. Truly perfect teams. The top of the top teams are those. They're the ones that find ways to win. I'm not sure we're there just yet, but look, it's early in the season. What are we, 8 games in? We're in the top 4 for now. I keep talking about it. Staging areas is an important part of the process. It was a big ask to ask if we're going to be the title challengers, but listen, again, I don't like to. It's almost a pointless energy exercise in saying, but if City lose to Arsenal, they'll probably batter Arsenal today, and it would be a pointless waste of conversation. But I don't think anyone's truly perfect this season. But that remains to be seen. Liverpool, we're having fun watching Liverpool this season, which compared to last season, which was miserable, is often the most important thing. Fun on the way to success. Brian Glow, not sure how to feel about this one. It feels like points dropped, but also feels like a fair result. Yeah, and that's my point at the start almost is Liverpool should go 3-1 up. And we had a couple of little decent opportunities in and around the box as well, but we didn't have a glut of them. But it comes down to neither team had an absolute mammoth opportunities going their way. They did well from the set piece to get themselves level. You could question, could Robertson do a little bit better than near post, but ultimately, you know, Dunk does well to ghost in and get the important touch on it. It's a good set piece. It's a good timing of it. No one's offside. You know, if we did that, we'd be talking about the smart movement of Liverpool's, you know, set pieces and what have you. They had that big opportunity very late on to seal it as well, and the guy skies it. So yeah, I think you're probably right. I think a point probably is a fair result. So because we're going, it's frustrating that we were 2-1 up and could have been 3-1 up and then didn't win, but equally we were a goal down and we managed to get ourselves back into it. So yeah. When you concede the last goal in a draw, it always feels worse than when you score the last goal in a draw. And so it's perspective as much as anything else, whereas you get a point regardless. Yaman Patanik says, what should be the goal of the season then? A Champions League place and what? We are not winning the league, so one of the 3 trophies. Honestly, mate, what I'd say is just chill your beans. Don't worry about it. It's that their worries and concerns for further down the way. There's loads of football to be played. Liverpool are going all right so far. Again, by comparison to last year, by comparison to the year before, you know, when Liverpool were challenging for a quadruple, including a Champions League, like it was unbelievable, and that was the level that Liverpool were at. We put a run of like 4 years now with the COVID season notwithstanding. You know, we were top of the table at Christmas that year as well before the injuries really bit. Liverpool have been, you know, at the absolute pinnacle of footy. We want to get back there, but I personally don't think it's too helpful because so we went for the quadruple, and if you'd asked me at the start of the season, would you take Liverpool just winning the FA Cup and the League Cup? I'd be like, no, we're good enough to win the league and we're good enough to win the Champions League. That would feel like a disappointment. But when I was running alongside, you know, the bus while they were parading those 2 trophies, it felt absolutely magical. And I'm bearing in mind, you know, I had guns pointing at me in Paris, you know, less than 24 hours earlier than that. One of the shittest football going experiences going. What I'm saying is, there's just, again, we've got to get back to enjoying the ride. That's why I've enjoyed the Europa League so far. It's been a great palate cleanser to go and see a bunch of fans who just love their football club. There's no that horrible, toxic British social media banter rivalry shit. It's just a bunch of fans really enjoying their football team, enjoying the occasion, and teams going for it. And ultimately, Liverpool coming on top, so that helps. But yeah, so this whole idea of how do you measure success? There's so many things that can happen between now and the end of the season that, whatever, mate. You know, Liverpool could still win the league. You know, it's very possible that Liverpool could win the league. But if you think that Liverpool are going to win the league or that Liverpool should win the league, then you're teeing yourself up for a greater sense of disappointment, because it just the best advice I can give is just presume Man City are going to win the league, and if Liverpool make a good fist of it, enjoy that. Cyberwolf Explains with the super chat says, feel like Klopp has been really stubborn with playing Mac at DM, not suited to it, wasting his talent and wasting Endo on the bench. See, I don't get the defence of Endo. I honestly, I don't. I've not seen enough from him to suggest that he should be starting games for Liverpool. Yeah, I don't think I've seen anything that says he's good enough to play in the six for Liverpool, if I'm being honest. That might well change, and I'm happy to for that to develop. Again, it's so early on into his career. Obviously, it took Fabinho. Fabinho was, for me, the best DM on the planet in 18, 19, 19, 20, probably the season beyond, when except he doesn't get to play midfield enough because of the injuries. But no one thought that for the first half a year of him being at Liverpool, and Endo's 31, he's already in the tail end of his career. If it's not Klopp being stubborn, Klopp looks at the lads in training and then makes his decisions. McAllister's there because he's better at football than Endo. Endo might be a bit more aggressive and might be a bit more better at the defensive stuff, but that wasn't what cost Liverpool today. McAllister made a mistake in something that he is perfectly naturally gifted at, that is receiving the pass under pressure and dealing with it, and he doesn't. Shit happens. I think McAllister's has been better than worse in the six. But my overall contention on this is Liverpool need a world-class number six if they're going to be they're going to win the league and challenge for the league and get into the Champions League and challenge for Champions Leagues. I think you need to have the best number six in the world. And it was telling that they put some Arsenal minutes stats up on Sky earlier, and Rodri played 2,000 more minutes than the Arsenal player they've been playing the most, which I think was Saka, because Rodri is such a unique creature in world footy. He's the perfect number six. So Man City just play him, and they play him, and they play him, and they play him because he's brilliant. Busquets played more for Barcelona than he didn't. When you've got one, you play one. And when we had one in Fabinho, we just played him. Liverpool haven't quite got that, and that's room for improvement in the squad for sure. But McAllister's playing, make no mistakes, McAllister's playing in the six for Liverpool because he's the best number six that we've got at the club right now. And that's not my opinion. That's why he's playing. If there was a better number six, he'd be playing. Because if there was nobody just plays in that team on reputation or whatever, Endo needs to show more. And in the certain games that we're playing, because we don't own a perfect six, we've got a bunch of options who aren't perfect. He'll choose the one that he thinks suits the style of play better, and McAllister suits our style of play really well. So there's that. Big fella. Big fella says, I think they walked to Brighton, seems second to most things. See, in spells, yeah, but actually I think the second half, I think Liverpool, in the meat of that half, were all over Brighton. They got to the second balls, they were really putting them under pressure. We were turning them, we were spinning them, we were frustrating them in terms of if we weren't cleanly winning the first ball, we were causing them to miscontrol it, or mad uncontrolled headers, and then Liverpool were on it for the second ball. Again, not having loads off the bench to change it will have hurt us, but I'm sure Brighton have had similar issues as well. They were playing not left. They didn't have a left back in that game because of injuries. And then it was I'm just looking over at what our bench was. Gravenberch was our big hit off the bench, and and then Endo and Gomez, and then Ben Doak is a 16-year-old kid, a little bit bare mainly because of the suspensions. Because if you've got Curtis Jones there, then it means you've probably got Elliott on the bench to bring on, who I think could have impacted the game more for 30 minutes than the first half that he did play. But I thought Gravenberch was really good. So I don't think it was too bad. I think there was a couple of moments where we looked a little leggy, but it's what happens when you play midweek football. There were times when they didn't look totally on it either. So yeah, rough with the smooth and all that, mate. But yeah. Right, I'm going to go over to Twitter. And then I'm going to get some of the comments. In fact, there's one actually from the Club Legends, by the way, before I move on to the Twitter stuff. This from Unichronic says, it's clear Klopp isn't interested in a true number six. See, this is the thing, we keep doing this. We keep making these cast iron assumptions on what Klopp's doing and what he's doing. I'm not making them anymore because we don't understand enough of the thinking, because we've brought in loads of new players. We've changed stylistically. We've changed the system in which we play. I used to know it inside and out, so I could say I used to have a really good handle on what Klopp was doing and what they were aiming for. I still think that Liverpool are going to go out and buy at some point, whether it's January or next summer, a truly great next number 6 because we've got so many brilliant options there. You look between Szoboszlai and Gravenberch and McAllister, we've got loads of energy and creativity that we've added to the midfield, to those 8s. But we need more steel, I think. But you don't just need steel, you need somebody who can do what McAllister does, plus you need Endo plus McAllister. And I think that's the 6 that Liverpool are looking for. So I think he does want, and again, what is a pure 6? Because, nobody wants a Claude Makelele anymore. No one just wants an anchor man. No one just wants someone who's a deep man who just sits back and breaks play up. That's not what you're looking for anymore. Liverpool want to surprise you from all different ways. Rodri gets goals as well. Fabinho got goals as well. That's what we want. We want to, what we've got in theory in Núñez, what we've got in Alisson, what we've got in Van Dijk, what we've bought in Szoboszlai. Oh, God, sorry, City just haven't cleared off the line. I think you need a complete footballer. Tall, strong, powerful, pacey, can pass, can tackle, all those things. But they're quite a commodity. And I don't think we thought we were really in the market for that commodity quite to the level that we were. But, look, life's a shit house, isn't it? So, yeah. Right, okay, Twitter. First comment from here comes from Ignat Football. Damaging to pick up 1 point from 2 games. 2 tough away games. 3 points from these 2 games would have been good. I feel Liverpool should have got 4 as they deserved it. It is what it is. It's a long season. Time to get going and hope Man City don't get their 97 points totals. Look, yeah, again, Man City will do what Man City do. Man City are an entity built to bend and break rules and get away with it. Comparing yourself to them is just, it's like you go and do your job and you work your 9 to 5, and maybe you do your overtime, and you've got quite a well-paying job. Maybe you're on a good solid wage above and beyond the average. But then you compare yourself to your neighbour who is a drug dealer, and they've got loads more money than you, and it looks all amazing and sexy from the outside, but it's built on unsteady ground. It's built on a variety of circumstances that you can't really replicate, because you could, but ultimately if you did it, you'd probably go to prison. So don't worry too much about Man City is what I'm saying. Let them be them. Let's just enjoy us. KD6. Back 4 needs tightening up big time. I really like McAllister, but I don't think he's a 6. I'd rather Endo start at that position from now on. I don't get me wrong, I've said this a lot. I would rather Endo start in the 6 than McAllister. I would. But I want Endo to be good enough. I'm not, and this is the point. Liverpool are not just going to put worse footballers in for the sake of it, particularly because we've got quite a lot of footballers who are good at playing in the 8s. So there's no reason to weaken the proposition, because let's just say Endo's crap. And I'm not saying he is. I'm not saying he definitely is or whatever. But if he's not good enough, then what's the point of playing someone who's going to be a 5 or 6 out of 10 at their, and maybe like a 7 out of 10 at their very best, when you can keep a bunch of top quality players in the 8s? At the moment, I don't think you were weakening our 8s by not having McAllister in there, because Gravenberch has been really promising so far, and I think Curtis Jones has been excellent, and Szoboszlai amazing. And at the moment, as I say, I just think they might be just as good as one another, by the way, and it might be a bit like a difference between Mignolet and Karius, is that it's just that McAllister slightly suits our style of play more. So we'd rather have a guy who's a bit better at playing the ball and receiving the ball in danger than someone who breaks things up. And that might be the wrong decision, but ultimately they see them players play loads more than we do, because it isn't just what happens on the pitch on a weekend or midweek. But I do think the back 4 needs tightening up. So a couple of just sloppy mistakes as what's cost us. The first goal is the first goal, and the second one from a set piece. Again, is it a well-worked set piece, or could Liverpool defend it better? Could it be both? Yeah, probably. Bjorn, Beagle_19. Diaz holds onto the ball too much. McAllister is not a DM. I'd prefer to play Endo there. Darwin played well. Robertson was poor. I thought Robertson was actually having quite a good game up and all told. I thought he was getting up and down quite well. A couple of just bad balls toward the end or whatever, but I wasn't overly bothered by Robertson's performance. I thought it was all right. It's whether you think he's at fault for their second goal. Could he do more at the near post? I don't know. Honestly, I'd need to see what the trajectory of the ball was. Could he get something on there? Could he have done more? I haven't got an honest, definitive opinion on that, to be perfectly honest. Diaz holding to the ball too much. Maybe. I think you need that though. I think our wide players help us get up the pitch. And Diaz had an odd one. He had a very long injury. I think we forget that sometimes. If it had been just one, if someone had just said, when he got injured in the Arsenal game, that's his cruciate and he's out for 6 months, I think we'd have been a lot more forgiving of how long it takes to get back up and running after that. But he's still the most dangerous outlet we've got down that left-hand side. But he's the one who's paid the price for Jota's suspension. I'd have just brought Jota on with half an hour to go there and that would have changed the dynamic for us. I think Diaz right now struggles to do 90. But he's a real threat and he gets goals as well. So, I mean, look, there was no other option there for us today because of what we had. Maybe you chucked Ocon just for a bit of extra pace. Maybe that's a mistake that we made. I don't know. Mickey Owens, 88, says... sorry, I've got to stop watching the game. I don't think it's a fair result when they should have had a lad sent off and scored a goal from a free kick that should never have been. Thought we'd done enough to get the win, undone by poor officiating in the end, but our defence needs to tighten up. Gravenberch needs to start next. I think that's a decent point. I thought they bought the free kick big time, didn't they? There's another one where you go past your man, your foot kicks your own leg, you go down. It's one of those standard that just gets given as a free kick, very similar to Jota's first yellow against Tottenham, to be fair. We should defend set pieces better. Crosses into the box. Liverpool should just deal with them. There's that. Gravenberch, look, he is fast becoming a player who should just be in the first, just start games, play all the games for Liverpool right now. But the good thing is, look, there's no need for us to get into a world where you've got your 11. We don't need to just have 11 lads and 11 and 11, 11, same 11 over and over and over again. There's nothing wrong with playing lads for 16, 30. There's 5 subs and there's good footballers. Harvey Elliott's a good footballer. He's a little lost in the game in the first half, but then so Szoboszlai. And then ultimately it's great game intelligence by Elliott to let the ball run through to Salah. So that deserves credit for him being on the pitch, and that's we had a positive impact on the football match in the end. And Gravenberch just looks great. So yeah, I do want to see more of Ryan Gravenberch, to be fair. So there's that really, which is absolutely fair. Let's get to one last comment. Our Europa League group is a blessing, and we should still have made examples of both teams. We've not done that yet. Yeah. Look, the thing is, if it's from Unichronic, who's been very vocal in the Discord so far, just all I would preach on this is just everyone just needs to relax a bit. You know, it's Liverpool. Even when we were winning the league, we didn't really steamroll the teams. The first half of the season is about building foundations for the rest of the season. So build yourself a bridgehead, grind some points out, get your team up to speed, both in terms of fitness, sharpness, understanding, which is something that Liverpool haven't had to do in the 3 seasons prior to this because they were built and it was just 1 or 2 little additions here and there, but more or less pick up where you left off and go again. So there's a lot of new lads gaining understanding of how to play a Liverpool system, all the small, fine margins, and that I talked about in the game. Things like set pieces, that comes after you've learnt your fundamentals. You get out to play first, and then you add that, and it's why crap teams focus on that, because there's no amount of training that's going to turn a crap team into a title-winning team. But if you you can put all your efforts into like pass and move and all that kind of stuff, but it's going to be a pointless endeavour. Focus on getting yourself solid, hard to beat, and set pieces, because you can win football matches with set pieces if you can stop conceding goals. The middle teams, the ones who are good enough to challenge for top 4, get the on the pitch play stuff right and are able to pick up more points. The teams that are at the very, very top have it all. And Liverpool aren't ready to plug in those extra bits. They don't need to have the throw-in coach yet, because there's no time on the training ground to teach throw-ins, because we're still teaching where you should be when you're passing and building up through transitions and how you change back into a defensive shape, etc., etc. So yeah, at the moment, Liverpool are ticking along quite nicely for a team that was rubbish last year. 2 wins from 2 in the Europa League, through in the League Cup. We've dropped points in now 3 Premier League games. But in terms of like away games, we've now gotten 4 massive away games out of the way. more to come, sure, and definitely room for improvement. But if you beat Chelsea and Brighton at home, 4 points from Chelsea and Brighton across the season is a good way to do things. But that's for future Liverpool to deal with, to be perfectly honest. Right, sounds. That is that. Maintain your optimism. No reason why not to. Liverpool have definitely got the firepower and the ability. And the thing that was where we were so weak was, again, lacking in that energy. That was much improved again today. And again, this is Ryan Gravenberch, who's it didn't have a pre-season with Liverpool. He came so late. For him to look that good already, for Szoboszlai to look that good already, and for McAllister, for as much as we might think, whether he's born to be a 6 or not, he is holding his own pretty well in there, all told. It'd be interesting to see if we can finally get him into that 8. What does that look like for Liverpool? Do we go up a gear there? Who's to know? That'll tell in the fullness of time. But Salah back on the score sheet. Núñez looking good leading the line in a game that wasn't necessarily suited to his skill set. And yeah, hopefully no more injuries. And we don't have to play Brighton away again this season. So that's something, right? Anyway, sounds. Player rankings next. Come and join me over on there for that. If you're live, I need your help in the comments ranking the Liverpool players. I think that's going to be quite a tricky one this time. If you don't want to do that, but you do want more Liverpool chat, head to redmenplus.com. Player ratings podcast, where they go through all the players and rank them out of 10. And the Instant Match Reaction show, all there. One of the two of them will be live right now. I can hear them talking in the other room. So you could head over to redmenplus.com right now, sign up, and there'll be live streams for you to watch. 3-man shows over on there, so do go and check those out. Anyway, drop a like and come and join me for the other show. Up the Reds. Bye. Thank you so very, very much for checking out the video. If you enjoyed it, drop a like. The season is now well underway. If you need extra Red Men content, be it podcasts, videos, documentaries, interviews, and general shows, fill your boot